So, first to say sorry for my English, it's not so, maybe don't understand. I'm learning. Yeah, I would like to know something else about the doubt, how it's working, and the rebellious, the connection.
With the rebellious one?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you give me an example of the rebellious one that's come?
Yeah, I think yeah. For example, the day of the sound system, and I perceive a contraction, but maybe it's my projection. And I get in defense.
You got defensive?
Yeah.
When you were testing the sound, you mean?
No, I was helping to Margareta.
Okay.
And I felt there is I feel small, and I feel like the energy of the victim and
perpetrator.
Yeah, but I feel I don't have a space to participate in that point. No? So I don't know if it's my projection, is feeling, or I feel that is happening. There is not that space, or there is some contraction, or I don't know. Maybe it's my projection that don't let me the space. I get in my projection without space, because I think why some recording in my mind come up, and I get in fear and in contraction, because I remember why something come up. I don't know how it's, and my reaction is like a child. I get and I have to fight there, no, in that point, because really I feel that it's not right, but I don't know if sometimes I get wrong and another person is don't doing anything, no, but I'm in reaction to some, I don't know if it's my recording in my mind for something, in my body, all my body is contraction, no? Or is together, maybe also is outside, that is happening sure. No? Outside and inside, but sometimes I feel it's inside only. For example, when some person is doing something and I make judgment,
a judgment,
but my reaction is I'm reacting to my judgment.
That's it.
Yeah, my reaction is like what I think this person is thinking or this person is doing, my reaction is with that, no?
Sure.
And I sometimes get wrong. It's not right. It's not. It's not. It's. I feel it's not love. No? There is no space for what you told me the other time. There is no space to. I think it's you are doing that, and I point you, and I get in reaction to that, no, and
okay.
That make me many things suffer.
There are many layers here, and one of the deepest that we're sitting with at this time is that there is in your story a very strong reaction to authority. Actually, it's in everyone's story. But your script is such that the parental, at least one parental figure, was not a stable influence. And we could say that it gave you a contracted view of authority. An authority that was very strong and felt unfair. And every time you meet an authority figure, you are now comparing it with your knowledge of what you understand as authority. And you fight. I hear the words from you, it's not just, you mean it's not fair, a lot. That little one who sees an injustice, something that isn't truthful, and is saying, it's not right. I must speak up for what is not right. Okay. The key word here is reactivity. Okay. Sometimes truth has to express itself very clearly, but the one who feels hurt, the one who's in contraction by an experience of authority, this is the cause of your suffering. Because no one can hurt you. You hurt you. Your perception of a situation is hurting you. But I know that you're discerning this, and there's a very close watching of your behavior in yourself, which is wonderful. But what does happen very quickly is that rebellious child is still claiming its voice. It feels that it has to state what it thinks is unfair. And not having space to do that brings more rebellion, because you feel silenced. But let's be really clear about what a true voice is. Sure.
Yeah. Also work in, for example, this make me pain because I get without a space. But another reaction, another thing is happen is when somebody is doing something and I felt this behavior, I make a selection. This is this behavior, this is this behavior. And what happens is I don't give the space also to another person, no? To be, so I separate from the person I love, for the persons I love, because I make a judgment. Yeah. I give the same opportunity than I give to myself, to that person. No? and it's no space. The same that happen when I feel when I get in contraction and rebellious, no? That happen in, I don't know if you understand and you can explain, but that happen when somebody is doing something and I point and I know it's not I watch who is pointing, but in the same time still I feel too much far of here, no? Of to be in connection with the person, because it's strong, no? What is working like that all the time, no? And don't let a space to the. Maybe it's not what they are feeling, but it's my projection who is thinking this person is doing something and point them.
Yeah.
So maybe they are don't feeling the same. It's so different than me, and I get I realize that's why I protect too much my neck with things, no? Because this pointing, no, is the voice, no, what you were saying about that now.
Yeah, I know. Yes, you're learning at this time to discern between what needs to be said and what doesn't need to be said. Those of you who are working really closely together have a unique opportunity, because you're pushing each other all the time inwardly, pushing your buttons and catching each other. And sometimes it's very necessary to explore what's just happened in the moment, to catch it together, to articulate what's just happened. But very often what happens is that the rebellious child is demanding to speak. And then there's no speaking, no true speaking. It gets very sticky indeed. And it can't listen. It's sticky because there may be some element of truth in there, something that you're picking up, some dissonance. But your learned reactivity, your learned patterns of behavior are articulating a knowing, so it can't be pure. Okay, let me say it another way.
My behavior, articulate.
Your old behavior, okay, the rebellious child, will speak its pain so that the actual truth in there gets lost, because it's covered in your interpretation, your memory of authority. So everything gets very sticky. And that's why I said to you in that moment, it was not the moment to speak up. Actually, what happened was a strong moment of sabotage. That rebellious child did not want anyone to tell her what to do. And all sorts of layers are in that one. The one who doesn't feel loved. The one who feels jealous. You use that word a lot. Yes. So that one was speaking. But at the same time, my love, let me just say, at the same time, it's not about silencing something that comes up. And there's the confusion.
Yes, what I want to say, because I don't know who I am.
Okay.
These days, I know something is changed, because to put my attention in the one is needed for love, looking for, and also the one is pointing to another, no? Of the rebellious, no? I have confusion, and some part of me is stop now. Some part normally work and working is not clear that the rebellious and the needed and the
some part of that stops, the rebelliousness, do you mean? Which part?
Some part of me, also the part is Olenka. The one is relaxed and participative. Also is there is a confusion, so this part is also stop, no?
Okay.
It's not working.
Sure. Elenka's not working. Very good. Yes, Elenka has to stop working for now, so that a true Elenka can come forth. An Elenka that's not tied up in memory. That little one is fighting for her position. Something interesting has come up over the last few hours, 24 hours, with something you spoke of. On the one hand, you speak of a jealousy of those who have more authority or are working in a different way with Ma. But on the other hand, when I said, you're ready for equal responsibility, you said, oh no, I don't want it, because then I won't be as close to Ma. Do you remember? So there's a conflict there. That little one, that needy one, comes out at every angle. That's the one to catch.
Which one? Sorry.
That little one that feels that she won't be loved.
Yeah, it's too strong. It's needed. It's strong.
This need is too strong.
This need is strong.
So much has melted, Olenka, that in a way, you're in the middle of such a powerful process. I'm not worried about the stickiness that's here, because each day we're catching another little bit. And more to the point, each day you are catching a little bit. Very often you come to me before I come to you and say, look at what just happened there. All right. You with the members of the team. Now very often I watch you all working together, and you don't all work together with each other necessarily as you would with the form of Ma.
We work different.
You're all in defense.
No. Sorry. You say we work together in different way that we work with you.
For sure.
That's what I understand.
Because for the moment, you're not seeing Ma in each one. All right. Each one is a threat to you loving Ma. But that too is melting. But the authority issue is very key with you. Very painful. The little one who felt she didn't have a voice. She had no right to say no. This one is claiming her right. All right. Now, I know that I've said many times that most beings have to have their first no, and it's a sticky no. Messy. And it still has to come, because it's part of your journey to a truthful no. However, you've had quite a lot of time with sticky no. And now it's time to really catch and stop yourself before something spills out. Does something always need to be articulated? You can see misunderstanding in another being, and it has no effect on you. Right?
You have to have a wisdom to don't be affected for the behavior.
No, you don't have to have a wisdom. You are that wisdom. Bring yourself to it, into this.
What happened now is I'm surrender. What I feel the rebellious come up. I feel the situation is uncomfortable because the rebellious is not something is there. I don't know if it's. I don't want to speak about the rebellious. Is the one is not right in that moment. Maybe it's. Right, and the moment something is felt.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt if it's the rebellious or if it's I'm right,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so. In that point, I'd say I don't know.
Okay.
It's what I'm doing now. I don't know, and I don't go to say. I give that to. I say, okay, nothing.
Okay.
I don't go to listen the rebellious now. No? I do that, but I don't know if I do that with the rebellious or with my...
Or with what you feel.
Yeah.
Right.
So I get in some point lost there.
Yes. Yes, I understand. But you just saying, I don't know. There's such space in I don't know. Within that I don't know, then there is room to see if something there was being felt. And in that space you can then discern if it's appropriate to speak or not. In I don't know, you have all the space in the world. It won't suppress anything.
Yeah, at the moment it's more that with the rebellious, no?
Sure.
Then I don't know.
Okay, for now. Because that rebellious one had to be told off. And you knew it. Because she was getting out of control.
Yeah. So that is that way, this good way, now at the moment.
It's saying no to that one without being angry at it. In you. Without self-hatred. That little one who is so powerfully angry, the rebellious one, is anger. That one is only that way because she feels unloved. When you look from here, right now, look at me from here. Do you feel unloved when you look from here? Okay. you can feel the vibration of that rebellion. We've used the phrase before, it's like a knife. It gets thrown at someone. But you feel it too. To throw a knife at someone is to throw it at yourself. And that's what you're catching at the moment. Because that rebellion is craving love, but it's furious at it. That's the rebellion at God for letting you down.
Was in the connection the needed, no? With the rebellious.
The need with the rebellion.
Yeah. I was watching. I want to do that, and there is I can't see anymore. No? I want to do something is needed, and it's really needed, and I don't see if what is happening around me, no. And I was watching that. We was working together. And I was wanting something, no? And I wasn't done service. That I was without doing service in that moment, because I was wanting to do something else for myself. No?
Okay.
The excuse was something in service, no? To do something is important to do, but I realized was not important. Was some need. The child was needed attention, no? And love. What I realized is I can't see another thing I'm watching is connect with all of that. Is what I want, something, I need that, and I don't see anybody, no, around me. I don't serve the Sangha. I don't serve. In that moment, no? And then in that point, Margareta told me, no, that what I was doing, and was the rebellious come. At that point, when she showed me what I was doing, no?
Mm-hmm.
But in the same time, I was really grateful. No? I got the rebellious was trying to get what he want to get,
mm-hmm.
and fighting what is in the middle. No?
Yes.
And it's like the rebellious can't see anything else, and I can't serve anyone. No? Only want to get what is needed for the love he need. No,
Mm-hmm.
that is what I get the last.
Yes. Beautifully articulated. Because that's the state of the human condition until it knows the love that it is. Each being is as if they were locked in a box of their need. And they're circumscribed by their need. Can't see out of it. You look from here and those walls are knocked down. It's moment to moment. Because you spent many years living as that rebellious child. All right, so she knows her existence well. She knows how to survive in her world. But when she comes up against other worlds who are likewise surviving their worlds, there's a clash, right? but you're tasting it. And you're feeling how much it hurts to be in so much need. It's never satisfied.
Yeah. Thank you. It was needed. It was so good to check with you that.
I'm very happy you did, because it is a story for everyone. Rebelliousness, reactivity. It's all the same vibration.
You, close enough. In the book, I am, forgotten the rest of the title.
I am I.
I am I. In that book, I'm sort of about chapter 27, but I go back and forward. There's a bit where you talk about the energetic footprint, which I think I've left a big one. So, or a little one then. It sort of fitted with another bit about opinions, and I think I've had a lot of opinions. And I do watch from this heart, and I see, opinions arise. And judgment, of course. But just recently, I had a experience with a friend I've known for a long time. She's a friend, I would say, who hasn't recognised her spiritual journey, or is afraid to. And in me, she doesn't acknowledge my journey, but she sort of does. It's a delicate relationship. And recently, she's got a new friend who I quite like, but she's a woman, I should say, with a lot of hurt. And I was with both of them, and war came up on ISIS and various subjects, and I was sort of steering my way through it, and in the end I had to just leave. So I just left, but it wasn't good. It wasn't, they didn't understand why I had to leave. Well, they may have done, but I could feel the energy was, symbolically I felt like I'd had two sort of ravens sitting there. That was my feeling energetically. Although I know that's not the case, but that was how I felt. And I also felt very angry, so I didn't want to be angry there. But I know that in my history, my defensive anger that comes up, and my heart just doesn't like it, and my voice won't, I can't really speak. And it's a very physical experience, and it probably goes back a long, long way. But as watching that, seeing that from my heart, I see it is a defense. It's a fear. It's a fear of being vulnerable, and this recent activity with these two and walking away from it, but not feeling okay, and then the next day, and looking at it a lot through the night, and then the next day thinking, well, what do I do now? You know, this has happened to me before. I can just let it go, but is that's leaving this energetic footprint as I see it.
Sure. There isn't a straightforward answer here, because many beings, when they are coming to the heart and unpeeling the layers, they are necessarily in a fragile state. It's a beautiful state. It's raw. It's going back to babyhood. But it's unstable. You're not fully rooted in your truth yet. Right? And yet, of course, you've tasted it. And you know it beyond all doubt. And there can be a phase for some beings when they feel they can't be around that which is dissonant. And it feels very harsh, as if somehow you have to cut yourself off from beings who you've spent many years with. When you're rooted here, you can be with anyone wherever they're at, okay? And you're learning that.
I get very upset when I see that I've stepped out of that, as if it's sucked into this world, this
but
other...
Let's be clear about what you felt you were sucked into.
I felt that I was sucked into what I would call my political self, which I was when I was a lot younger, before my real spiritual understanding happened. I was a rebel. You know, I was rebellious as a teenager. We all are, but it went into my later life, really.
You cannot know yourself without rebellion. You cannot separate politics from spirituality.
Well, I have. That's there and this is here. Yeah. And it is a difficult thing to mix, like a bad cake. I know about that.
I'm afraid it's all mixed. It's all you. All that's going on in a war is an expression of the collective pain, the collective isolation, the collective need, the collective holding on.
It's so painful.
Yes, it is. Don't run from it. At the same time, what I was saying before about not being able to be around strong and dense vibrations for a time during one's journey, this also needs a space. It's very subtle to express this.
Yeah.
However, that one who is separating spirituality from politics, where I want to be and the real world, there seems to be this battle going on. It's all real. It's all an expression of a forgetting of the self. The one who is exerting an opinion, however, was also potentially what you were reacting against, because you felt the stickiness of it.
Yeah.
The political debaters An opinion is a contraction. You can feel it. It's a tightening of your view. But the human mind is defined by its opinions. It spent many years cultivating them. I'm this kind of person because I hold these kind of opinions. And all of that is going.
It's very hard to see that, especially in my family. Back to family again.
Hard to see that in them, or hard to see it in you towards them?
That's one of my difficulties. This is the friend thing. Is that sort of one? I don't love them as I love my family, or in the same way. I do love them, but from a human point of view. Because this was my second part of this inquiry, and it's my sister. I mean, with all of my family, they sort of accept me as I am, but we don't talk about what I am. So they know I came to Cornwall, but they don't know why. Now, I don't try and inform them, because when I've had to defend that corner as well, and I don't see the point in defending something that is what I am. I just be that. And I found out, because I just love them as they are now, it's getting better, but I never see my sister, and there is historically, she's Kali to me. That's how I feel. Whether it's based in a reality, it's how I feel because of the way we interacted as siblings as I was growing up. She's nearly 7 years older than me, so when I was born, she was nearly 7. And my parents were divorced, and she wasn't happy. So I came in as my father went out, who she'd bonded with, and I didn't really get to know. Well, not at that age. So there was, from this point of view, there was this. I worked this out much later in life. I didn't know it as I grew up, but I could see how hurt she was, and how my being there. My mother was very close to me, being the baby and the third child, and having just recently divorced. So I suppose she must have felt very isolated. And there's other bits to the story which aren't really very important, I don't think, because it's come to a place now where we don't communicate, and I don't really want to, if I'm honest. I'll do the runaway thing again. I find it easier to. I do now work with seeing her hurt and feeling how she really feels, but that hasn't happened in the physical because there hasn't been an occasion. And my mother has dementia, so I spend quite a lot of time with her, which is another difficulty because she lives with my brother and sister-in-law. So I have to sort of work with that, which is fine. I work with them, but I'm not able to do what I'd like to do with her because I can't find a position to do that with.
What would you like to do with her?
Just to talk about death and life, and we do a bit. I mean, it does happen, but also there's needs that she has which aren't. She doesn't let them know her needs very well. Well, she'll let me know. I sort of intuit with her. We're very close, so. I know that she's sort of neglected because she won't allow herself to be not neglected. I can't explain it. And I can't do really physically anything very much about it. I see her quite a lot, but my sister, who doesn't live in the area, is sort of out of the way. But there is a sort of communication happening between my sister-in-law, who's the carer, my sister, who lives in Cornwall, and me, who I only live just 8-10 miles away. But it's all by email, and my sister-in-law sort of getting my sister and me to both email her, and then it's a sort of go-between thing happening. But I avoid answering my sister because I already read into her messages. They're sort of that's the same sort of thing. It could be me reading it. I don't know. So this is sticky.
So the running away. The running away from what?
From her seeing me as wrong, really, which she will openly say, I don't like you. She says she loves me, but she doesn't like me. One of those things which I don't get that, really.
You see, there's a difference from standing back and running away. Sometimes it's necessary to stand back. But if there is an aspect in you that is really not enjoying not being accepted, that's different. The one that minds her opinion, this one is ready to melt. The one who has to explain herself and doesn't want to explain herself anymore is running away.
I don't see the need to explain myself anymore. If I was with my sister, I would like to just be who I am.
But there's a weariness in that statement. All right?
Yeah.
You cannot explain yourself. The conversations that you feel you would like to have with your mother, let's throw them out for the moment. And just be with her. What feels mundane is not mundane.
I get quite cross with her as well. I mean, she doesn't really know that I get quite cross with her, but I feel, who are you? Because she's not there anymore, hardly. And she comes out with odd things that are not who she was. It's like being with a stranger sometimes.
A process is going on. A very profound process is going on. Look at it from here. You can't possibly comprehend from here. When you look from here, it won't be strange things coming out of her. It'll be consciousness speaking.
Mostly I see that. It was just recently I realised that I'm quite difficult with her. She won't move from her room, so we sort of sit there, and now there's less and less speech, which is fine. But I don't seem to be dealing with it very well.
Less and less speech.
Yeah. Now, isn't that odd?
Isn't that beautiful?
It is. I asked her one day what she was thinking, just to check, and she said, nothing. So I thought, that's really good, isn't it? Because I knew that nothing was okay. I mean, it wasn't nothing, but it wasn't a worrying, there was not angst or anxiousness there. It's as if it's reflecting back something that's just bringing up stuff.
Sure. You can't manage these relationships. It's not about making them better. It's shifting your perspective. Can you do it now? This isn't a theory. It's not an opinion. Close your eyes and bring your focus to under your palm. Can you feel space between the palm and chest? All right. Really let that space expand. Now that space is your set of eyes, your true vision. And when you're ready, can you open your physical eyes, but let space look at me. How is your view?
All I can see is Ma. All I can see is Ma.
And what is Ma?
Light. Such light.
So next time you're at your mother's bedside,
Yeah.
or in front of the computer reading your sister's email, that's when to catch yourself at So many opinions in that
It has a certain amount to do with emails. I don't find them so easy as letters.
Not at all, that's an excuse. It's the same contraction.
Well, they sit there, these words on a page, and they look cross. Yeah, okay, I should be looking from my heart. They won't look cross. Not at all.
Don't narrow your view. Let them doubt you. That will deepen you and them. If their doubts hurt you, it is because they are your doubts. Which again deepen you. To look at your mother from here is to no longer look at just your mother. She's love in expression.
She is.
I don't mean personally.
No.
Love is expressing in extraordinary ways. Speaking, revealing itself constantly. The constructs of the thinking mind are melting in the one who is experiencing dementia. Giving space for new words to come up. Listen to them.
I will. Thank you.
I wasn't sure whether to come, and then you looked at me, so I've come. So far this retreat's been very powerful. It's my mind's coming up with this way or that way. And when I've been in your presence, I've been feeling intense love. Last night was a very powerful night. I woke and I was feeling you and love. It's the same. And I was feeling it was feeling, I'm talking about the past because it was last night, intense, and I was feeling like what Rumi and Ramakrishna were, a taste of that love that they may have felt, just a small taste, and it was so attractive. What's going on when I'm sitting there is my mind's going Muji or Ma, Muji or Ma, Muji or Ma, Muji or Ma, Muji or Ma. And I know this is a tendency of mine to do this. I don't want it anymore. But I thought, I wasn't sure whether to come and expose it or just to go away and feel it through and see how it unfolds.
It's not an either or.
So, see what's happening is that I wrote to Muji, and so my fear is, there's a fear, what am I going to do if he says come to the community? Muji or Ma, Muji or Ma. And that's what's happening, so...
You imagine that you will leave Ma by going to Muji's community?
Yeah.
By going to Muji's community, you will be with Ma in the form of Muji. You must go where love wills. No decision to be made. The ecstatic love that you speak of, and we've already spoken of it, a heightened experience of that love comes and goes within you. Yes, it's very attractive. It has to be. It's how it gets your attention. It's a glimpse to that which has no words, to the uncontainable. I know there's an aspect in you concerned that you will get swallowed up in ecstatic bliss and lose yourself in it. A sobering up occurs.
I'm not so sure that is actually going on now. Maybe there's a fear of behaving crazy, slightly. But I don't think that's quite true. No, I feel there's a stabilization happening.
But that was the subject of our conversation only a couple of weeks ago. Your concern. That manifested from the weekend prior to our conversation, and that was due to the fact that I went to a bhakti retreat and it got ignited. So it was following from that it was a moment that I felt, and there was things said in the seminar about Kundalini and about chanting the name of God, and that
that Ma or whoever whatever the presence, the divine presence, will move in the right way if you surrender to the name. So it caused a confusion for me because I'd been to Muji's and he told me to chop everything, forget all everything, the practices, and as I went up and he basically said forget all the things you've done and just be here. And there was a collapse that happened physically as well. Yes. And like I said yesterday or the day before, I've had enough really in that way.
But he was speaking to you. He wasn't saying for a moment that all those practices should be ignored. But to you, at this time in your journey,
yeah. Yes, and what I've come somehow full circle in a funny way, because I started with devotion and meeting you, it's kind of fired something up, but in a purer way. There was a tendency, if I'm totally honest before, with the Hindu aspects, there was an excitement with that Kundalini energy, and through my conversation with you yesterday about my vision in the night with the passport and Mother Mary, it kind of felt pure. I can't word exactly what it came to my heart. So there's a subtle difference that I'm feeling when I'm with you and when I'm with Muji, and it's going through the heart that I'm feeling when I'm with you. You're pointing to here. When I've been with Muji, I'm ignoring my mind and I can't word what's happening, but I'm a bit speechless really about that. It's there's more of an intensity of love, but I'm feeling here that I'm not feeling at Muji's. That's what I think I'm trying to say. But with Muji, he doesn't like any story. And I see, I'm just being open. I see that you're very open to where people are coming from in their journey. Muji just chops it. So I can see the effect of both methods, if you call them methods.
We could call
Am
them
I somewhere between the two somehow, or something like that? I can't.
You are somewhere in between.
Between the two. It's like, sorry about expression, cut the crap, straight to the point, but also there's a heart, cut the crap, but come to the heart. I'm sorry I'm being a bit blunt, but that's...
Both these forms of Ma have jumped into your heart. Perhaps love will have you in both places to speak in that way. The mind is always comparing. Ma appears in so many different forms. This form of Ma has these particular chords to play. Each form of Ma has its own unique set of chords. That's all. He's Bhakti and Jnani in equal parts.
Sorry.
He is Bhakti and Jnani in equal parts.
Who's he?
Muji.
I'll just give you an image of it, of a picture. I put them up last night, you, Muji, and but I've kept getting pulled to you, you know, and I've like, okay, I have ignore Muji and I just focus on you because it's here now.
Well, there are your words, here now. Here now will become a different here now. It is true that this particular form of Ma is allowing the children to be messy for a while. I'm here to change your nappies. Is that not what every mother does? She gets her hands dirty.
And there's so much compassion in that.
Okay.
I can see that totally.
The father parent has a different quality. Just as beautiful. Just as vital. You will come to see in time that each form of Ma is both Shiva and Shakti in divine embrace. But for sure, sometimes it feels like it's more Shakti in this one, but others may say differently. You don't have a choice, my love. You're being reeled in.
I know. Seems like two lines, but one
It's one line. No, it's one line.
Fisherman's got two rods. It's just my mind saying that. So what's happened, what's different now is that I'm feeling here. So when you said love falling in love, I really felt what you said.
There is nothing to choose. Simply that you've fallen in love with love. And love will send you to different forms of itself for different chapters of your journey. That's all.
I suppose I don't know what's next, but I just have to stay here and see what unfolds. Hypothetically, if I did get a letter from Muji and he said, come, do I go to here and see what feels right or just go?
It's the same.
I think there's a bit of attachment going on here.
We'll call it divine attachment. It's very necessary indeed. Because without it, you'll never be toppled.
I'm feeling very attached to you right now.
To put yourself at the feet of love is to be willing to go under the scalpel. No matter how excruciating it is. That's the deal.
Please. Yes. Double yes.
Then let's begin. Okay.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
So, listening to what you've been teaching these few days and before, centering attention and seeing from the eyes of the heart is one of the central points, the Alpha and the Omega. I'm not sure I'm doing it, and I'm not sure whether it's that I'm doing it and not realizing it, or just not doing it. But I do know that this is something to get right, so I'd like to take the opportunity to understand it better and refine. When I put my attention there, I can see around me without my eyes, but I'm not sure it's from there. When I try and look from there more deliberately, I feel a sharp pain, a very sharp pain, like a runner's stitch. When I put my attention on that, it becomes everything. And I look at it from that space. I'm not sure where I'm looking at it from, because my attention's on it from the silence. And I watch that. Whether I'm fueling it or dissolving it, I don't know. but I would very much appreciate any guidance that you would offer.
Mm-hmm. Can we go back to babyhood? Just close your eyes. And again, that inward sense of infancy. Feel it inside. Your head has to be supported. You can't sit up by yourself. Can you describe what's happening?
At the same time, I can feel an expansive, empty awakeness and a trembling fear.
Okay. So with your focus on that expansiveness, the fear doesn't have to be done, nothing has to be done with the fear. Be the expansiveness. Now open your eyes and look at Ma. Let expansiveness look. The deeper eye of expansiveness contains the little eye with the fear. The little eye is terrified of that expansiveness. It doesn't want to be an infant. It wants to do, to exert itself. It's in possession of its own personal will. But that expansive infant is not in possession of anything. So that fear is the same contraction of pain that came. Don't try and understand anything. Is the infant trying to understand? The deep infant.
It's not.
Only then and now can wisdom be revealed. Do you doubt the infant?
No doubt at all.
Okay. So it's not a teaching. It's your own experience. Direct. The expansiveness of being. The deeper eye that's not trying or efforting or doing. But as we said the other day, you won't be idle.
That expansiveness, is that the same as the heart space we talk about? Accessing and working from that, is that the same thing?
To look from the eyes of the heart is to look as entire existence, as pure awareness being. Yes.
That answers my question.
That expansiveness, the stillness and silence of being, we can otherwise call love. The love that all beings are craving. Lifetimes of searching. Heart, beingness, consciousness, self, I. All the same.